Welcome to The Explainer. We spend pretty much our whole lives trying to build solid ground under our feet. But what if the very thing we're most afraid of, uncertainty, is the only real ground there is? Today, we're going to explore a really radical shift in how we think about finding stability in a world that feels so chaotic. So, to really get this, we've got to start with a desire that's basically programmed into us from the moment we are born. I mean, really think about it for a second. When a new baby comes into the world, what is the one thing that parents want for them above absolutely everything else? Well, more than anything, they want to create a safe world for their kid, to protect them and give them a really stable foundation. They want to give them a shelter. And what is a shelter really? It's just a bubble of certainty. The certainty of having food, a home, an education, all those little pieces you need to build what we call a certain life. And that drive we have from childhood, it never really leaves us. As adults, pretty much everything we do, every rule we make, every wall we put up, it's all part of that same basic goal, trying to carve out our own little island of certainty in the middle of this huge ocean of life's uncertainty. So we get to work, right? We start building our own little island of certainty, one piece at a time. And you know the typical path. First, we study a profession so we can get a good job. And that job, well, it gives us a steady salary, which gives us that feeling of security. And then with that security, we can get a home. See? Each step is just another block we're putting down, trying to build up that solid foundation of certainty. So yeah, basically, every single action we take is an attempt to build something solid. It's almost like we're all trying to construct our own personal island, a piece of firm ground that we can actually stand on in the middle of a constantly shifting ocean. But here's the thing. There's a really fundamental flaw in the islands we're building. Because if there's one thing that just terrifies the human mind, it's that feeling of not knowing. And this is right where the illusion of control kicks in. We get into our routines, right? We go to work, we follow our schedule, and we call this predictable life certainty. Our minds just desperately cling to this illusion because honestly, the alternative, facing the sheer vastness of what we don't control, is just way too scary to think about. But this brings up a super important question. Just stop and think for a minute. Where do all the truly unexpected things in your life actually happen? Well, they don't happen out there in the chaos. No, they shatter our illusion of safety right from the inside. A sudden market crash, an unexpected illness, a tragic accident. All these cracks, they don't appear in the ocean around us. They appear in the very ground we thought was so solid. And this leads us to this kind of staggering paradox. The very thing we call certainty is actually the biggest uncertainty of all. It's a foundation that's just riddled with holes, completely full of not knowing. Now, to really wrap our heads around this, let's explore a core metaphor that you see in a lot of ancient texts, the relationship between water and land. For example, in the book of Genesis, the world begins as just water, pure, formless potential. So in this metaphor, water represents uncertainty. Pretty simple. You can't stand on it. If you step on it, you sink. Land, on the other hand, is certainty. It's solid ground. It feels safe. And our entire lives are basically an attempt to turn all that water into more land. But here is where we see a total reversal of those ideas. The certainty that we build for ourselves, it's fragile. It's like a broken stick. But the true underlying uncertainty of the universe, well, that is absolute. It's an unshakable higher wisdom. So here it is, the crucial reversal, the key insight to this whole idea, what we call uncertainty. That is the real absolute certainty. And there's nothing else besides it. Okay, so if uncertainty is the only true constant, the only real solid ground, how in the world are we supposed to live with that knowledge? It seems the world is starting to move towards a new way of understanding this. The journey now is to actually reverse the process. That sand we built, that certainty we tried so hard to create, we're going to need to give it back to the water. We need to start putting our hope and our trust back into uncertainty. Now let's be super clear here. This isn't about just embracing chaos. What our minds see as uncertainty is actually a higher order, a pattern so deep and so vast that we just can't grasp it. It's actually a profound wisdom. And if you need one final piece of proof, just ask yourself this. What is the one thing, the only thing in this entire world that absolutely no one argues about? Think about it. It doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, what you believe, or where you come from. In the end, every single person returns to the ground. This is the one outcome where there's a strange, almost wonderful peace in the world. No arguments. And there it is. That is the absolute certainty. The very thing that seems like the ultimate uncertainty, death, the great unknown, is in fact the only thing that is completely 100% guaranteed. So maybe the new purpose, the huge shift in our thinking, is to change where we place our trust. The goal is to learn how to feel safest, not on our tiny, fragile little island, but when we're walking on the water, when we're embracing the vast, powerful ocean of uncertainty itself. And this leaves us with a final, really powerful question to think about. Uncertainty isn't just chaos. It's the space of infinite possibility, the place where literally anything can happen. So if we could learn to step into that space without being afraid, what incredible things could we build? What potential could we unlock in our own lives? Way beyond the tiny limits we've created for ourselves.